It's Backstage Pass with Steve Ryan. And here's your host, Steve Ryan.
I see you. I see
I
you,
see
Felix.
you. How are you, bro?
Hey, how are you, brother?
Pretty good, Steve. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I really appreciate you coming back on the program. Yeah, we spoke a number of months ago, and it was a great conversation, Felix, because I look at you as American rock and roll royalty. So it was a check mark on my list of things that
There you go.
that I wanted to get done. And when we talked, Felix, you had teased the duet that you were doing with Dolly Parton on My Hawaii, but it wasn't available yet. And so when I found out that it was now available, I thought, well, we probably should talk about it.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. Yeah, well, it took a while. I mean, the making of it didn't take a while. The getting it out to the public and getting a charity set up to it and permissions took a while.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know it's important to you, and Hawaii carries a special place in your heart. And so I thought, you want to talk about that, where that comes
Sure,
from, and
of
why
course. Sure,
where the proceeds are going, and all that?
of course. Uh, Basically, I can start from the beginning. I mean, in the '60s, the Rascals made a trip to Hawaii, and we were accepted, kind of like the Beatles. I mean, they took a liking to us thanks to certain people who were over there. Uh, Tom Moffat, this disc jockey named The Beard, and they made us into household names there. We were huge in Hawaii, and so we said, well, that's a good idea. Let's just be famous here, and the heck with every place else. Let's just stay here. Why not? And the other really good thing and interesting thing about it is that every time we worked, and we went at least twice a year, they wanted us. We said we're going. They gave us individually at least two, maybe four tickets for our families to come over with us. And in many cases, the family members and some of the guys' families would never have been able to afford to go over there. So they took advantage of it. And so we ended up having what they call ohana, which is a family feeling from second time we went there. I brought my dad, I brought my sister, I brought my cousins, and so did everyone else. So that feeling, as well as the tremendous, how should I say, acceptance, has lingered for all these years. So, and another part of the story is that a lot of our crew decided not to go back to the mainland and took up residence on some of the islands. Some of them are still there. As a long time, they set up a camp there, literally camp, and decided we're not going home. Of course, their parents wanted to kill us, but what are you going to do? They decided to stay, and some of them are still there, and so we have a presence there. So when this tragedy happened, which I believe was last August 2023, it really hit home because of that connection. And when you really know what happened there, what's happening there, a lot of the people that are out there stay in communication with me, so, and they go like, you just wouldn't believe the tragedy of losing everything you have, and you have nothing anyway, and there's a lot of suicides out there. There's a lot of joblessness out there. And there's also kind of like a really big kind of push for the big corporations to get that land, which is beautiful land, right on the ocean there, to deprive them of their family homes. I mean, this is like an old part of Maui. This is, if you look up the history of Lahaina, you'll see it's been there as a whaling town. So anyway, so we said, look, we've got to help. What can we do? My manager said, well, why don't you re-record that song, My Hawaii, which was #1 for many years there. I said, yeah, wow, cool idea. And now my guitar player, his name is Mike Sievers. He used to work with Dolly Parton many years ago. And being the wonderful guy that he is, he must have left a good impression on her, because he called up her people and promoted the idea, and she immediately agreed,
Wow.
which is really a wow. I mean, she's
Yeah.
quite a lady, So from that point till the actual recording was done, I would say we had everything done within a week and a half.
Wow.
Everybody donated their time. Everybody chipped in and said, hey, bring it over here, send it. Of course, we have the computer technology today, so we could send it here, send it there.
Right.
Everybody donated. And it really came out beautiful. I mean, it really did.
On these islands called Hawaii, man awakes to find this dream divine. Oh, Hawaii, my Hawaii.
And
Oh,
then,
it
of
is.
course, we had the period of time we had to hook up with a charity, which became the Maui United Way. And we also, my manager and his staff, had to plug it into all the various outlets, the Amazons, the Apple Music, the
Right.
Spotify, the Tidal, et cetera, et cetera. And that took a long time. I was really surprised. You can't give it away, bro. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
So we finally got all the places lined up so that people, when they want to donate, it goes to the right place. And it came out.
Yeah. Beautiful. I was listening to it last night, and the original version was from Once Upon a Dream, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And then you and Dolly's version is so beautiful, and it sounds so nice. I was thinking about, the benefit for the fire survivors there on Maui. And I think that, I mean, when you have a situation like that big, it's not like you can just get in your car and drive somewhere else away from the fire. I mean, you're on an island.
Yeah, well, it's even worse like that. I mean, it was a terrible. I mean, there's a lot of fault. Let's put it like that.
Yeah. Hey, Felix, where's the best place people can go? I mean, obviously they can download the single, but where can they go to donate?
I think the Maui United Way, there's a fund that when they go like to Amazon or something and look up the song My Hawaii, it specifies where to send.
Okay.
And look, I mean, it's one thing to contribute to a presidential campaign, but these people, they really need help.
Yeah.
They really need help.
Yeah. And good on you for going there. And
Yeah,
you had told me the last time that we talked that you wrote the song Beautiful Morning in Hawaii.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that, basically when we went to Hawaii, which, as I say, was at least twice a year, we always used as an excuse, well, we're going to stay an extra couple of weeks so I can write.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not easy to write in Hawaii because the last thing you want to do is anything related to work. I don't know how the people do it out there. You want to be number one. You want to soak in the vibe. You want to soak in the water. You want to soak in the food. You want to soak in the people. Oh, but we got to write. So finally, I got myself together to do it.
It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while and just smile. Just taking some clean, fresh air.
Yeah.
And you wrote a number one song.
Yeah. Well, like I say, that's a special place.
Yeah.
And if you don't get the inspiration to fall in love out there, I had my cousin and her husband, when they joined us to come out there, they were able to conceive their first child because they were having a tough time in the mainland, and it happened really quickly out there. So it's a special place. It really is, and I wish everybody could experience it.
Yeah.
My way of telling them is listen to Beautiful Morning.
Yeah. Yeah. It captures the feeling, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Hey, there's a couple of songs I'd like to talk to you about that we didn't
Sure,
discuss the last time, if that's okay.
sure.
I was just kind of going through your catalog, and we hit all the biggies. We hit Good Lovin' and Beautiful Morning and Been Lonely Too Long and People Gotta Be Free and all that. But I was going deeper into your catalog, and I had forgotten that in 1966 you had written "You Better Run."
What you trying to do to my soul? What you trying to do to my soul? Everything I had was yours, and now I'm closing all the doors. What you trying to do to my soul? You better run, baby. Hide, baby. From my side. Yeah.
Which became a big hit later also for Pat Benatar.
Correct.
And I'd forgotten about that. When that happened the second time, when Pat, had pretty modest hit with that. And what did you think of that version?
Great. Her and
Yeah.
Neil, they did a great job, and I'm a big fan of hers. I mean, she's a great artist. They did a great job. And so nice that they have a husband-wife relationship in the studio making the
Yeah.
records. It's really cool. He's a great musician, great producer. She's an unbelievable singer, and she's also in the Hall of Fame. I was very, very happy to hear that.
Yeah, you guys are in good company.
Good people. I mean, seriously. So it's always a treat when someone records your song. It's kind of like it's a piece of respect. I mean, it's kind of like an honor, I think, especially if they're as good an artist as she is.
Yeah. Well, Felix, when I talk to people, there's been times when your name has come up and I said, I had Felix on a few weeks ago and he was talking about this or that. And they're like, Felix Cavaliere,
Yeah.
love him, my hero, that kind of stuff. I mean,
That's great.
you're a very humble man. I don't know if you realize how high people respect you and the work that you've done and continue to do.
Well, that's a good thing, but as I say, I studied many years with a guru. You know, I came up kind of like with this gentleman by the name of Swami Satchidananda. I have never met a more humble human being than him. I used to travel with him at the United Nations. He was given a reward. And, there was just it was all humility. It was no ego. It was just like, I am thine, all is thine, thy divine will be done. That kind of stuck with me, Yeah, I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to get in the way of what I was taught. I want to
Yeah.
stay connected where I'm supposed to be connected, not where I'm not supposed to be connected.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people have a hard time with that.
A lot of people have a hard time with that. And, like it's really curious watching that as the years go by and seeing, the longer you're on this planet and, you kind of learn a lot, or hopefully you learn a lot and not to get carried away with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Your lyrics, a lot of them I've noticed have a bit of some more subtle than others, but a bit of a spiritual
Absolutely.
undertone to them, don't they?
Well, sure. Yeah. And I think a lot of people's lyrics are like that, whether they're aware of it or not. I was very aware of it, I don't know, as we were progressing in our career and, we're writing a song and recording it and putting it out, and it becomes a big hit and you go like, wait a second, something's going on here. You know what I mean? This is not that it's easy, but something's going on here. And I established that there's a connection to a source, which shall remain nameless. You can call it what you want.
Right.
As long as you have that connection, it flows.
Yeah.
As soon as you say, well, I'm the one that's doing this.
Yeah.
Stops.
It's a gift. It's a gift.
It's a channel, and I really appreciate it. It's really interesting because like if people are not aware of that, they should be aware of that.
Yeah. It reminds me of a song that you did called Glory, Glory,
Yeah.
which I love that song.
His eyes looked into me. His voice was a song. He said, "Tell me,
And
thank you. Yeah.
yeah, and the Sweet Inspirations did background on that, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, I know them
Sweet
because of
inspirations. Absolutely.
Elvis. Yeah. And for you to get them on a song and you hear them and d- how did you manage that?
Well, you see, the Atlantic family was a family. I mean, seriously, I mean, it was not like the major corporations at that time. You know, they weren't Warner Brothers yet. You know, that happened many years later. The studios were not off limits to the other artists. Pretty much everybody would be walking in the halls. If they wanted to walk in, they walked in. There was no do not enter signs. There was, so we got to know Sissy Houston and the rest of the Sweet Inspirations because they were part of the family.
Yeah.
So when we asked part of the family to come and sing, they were right there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like,
Yeah.
the talent that was available to you as an Atlantic artist, and just walking in the halls, the people that were there, like Otis Redding would be walking around, Wilson Pickett, Hubert Laws. They were just walking in the halls. I mean, so we grabbed them. Hey, would you like to come in and sing? And then of course
Wow.
we had Arif Mardin in there who was
Yeah.
part of the label, and Tom Dowd in the early days, and they were fully aware. Uh, that particular album came at a time when we were going through a little bit of turmoil, and actually we really needed help because Eddie had left the band at that point, so they came in at exactly the right time.
Yeah, I love the song and
It's a good song. I appreciate that. Yeah.
it wouldn't have been the same without them, huh?
No, because
It's
I mean, wow.
I mean, it's still a great song, but when you put it's like the
Oh,
icing on the
seriously.
cake, isn't it?
That is certainly like the icing on the cake. That's a good
Yeah.
ice. Well,
Yeah.
they sang a lot of Aretha's stuff too. They sang on their own stuff. I mean, they were like along with on the male side, Luther Vandross became part of the background singers for Atlantic. They just had so many great artists around them, around
Yeah.
the company. And I mean, you get into discussions, and we didn't have auto tune.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
didn't have, well, I'll make you sound good and look good and spell good and we'll change that. No, no, no. These people were phenomenal, and I
Yeah.
got to meet them, Benny King. I got to meet, these guys walking through the halls that were just really soul brothers. I mean, nice, nice people, man. I mean, like, they were appreciative of each other. And, like it was a great experience for me. Sam and Dave, people that, Wilson, we just, yeah, some of them were tough. Wilson was a tough guy, but he was a genuine artist. That's for sure.
For people who maybe haven't seen the first time we talked, you had told a great story about how Groovin got released, and
Oh yeah.
Atlantic wasn't really big on that because there wasn't like any drums behind it. Or will you tell that story again for me?
Well, yeah, because, when we signed with Atlantic, uh, one of the reasons that we signed with Atlantic was because they allowed us to produce ourselves. I wanted to produce the band. I didn't want us to have an overseer that was telling us what we could, what we couldn't do. And, it took, it really was a kind of a bold step because who the heck were we? I mean, they saw us, but I would tell them that, you like what you hear. They like what they hear. That's why they're coming out to see us. Give us a shot. And so basically, when they put us in a room with two giants, Arif Mardin and what do you call Tom Dowd? Oh, it was like, you can't get any better than this. They gave us free studio time, et cetera, et cetera. But we were kind of in charge, contractually. To this day, they have to kind of ask us, if we want to release that or not. Although, that's getting a little watered down, but still, it was there. So we recorded this song, Groovin. What's Groovin? Well, Groovin on a Sunday afternoon is a story about people, such as, musicians who work Friday and Saturday, don't have that time to spend with their girlfriend, their loved one. And so basically you have Sunday afternoon, Groovin on a Sunday afternoon. also being in Manhattan, growing, up near Manhattan and there's a huge Latin influence there. Huge. I think people start to realize this now, how many Latins there are there, because they've got their own Hall of Fame. Great music. So I wrote this song, and there was a disc jockey by the name of Murray the K. Do you remember Murray the K?
Yes, I know. Yeah, you told me this story and I love it. Keep going.
Murray the K was a major. He used to call himself the fifth Beatle. He was on WINS, and he was really like, in those days, disc jockeys carried a lot of weight. I mean, if they liked something, they played it. They didn't have quite the corporate structure that we have today, which disc jockeys pretty much, on the radio level, they don't have any power at all. They just do what they're told pretty much. Right. But not in those days. They were big. Murray happened to be in the studio that day, and we went to, I don't know if it was the next day, we went over to Atlantic, and Mr. Jerry Wexler, who was the kind of guy I did battle with, because he was the liaison between the record company and us. He said, "You can't put that up. You can't put that up. Why? Because no drum, you're a rock and roll band. It's silly. Don't put it. What are you doing? What's the matter with you guys?" And he was tough. He was so smart. And Murray happened to be there. He happened to come in, and he said, "Look, Jerry, let me tell you something. You see, what time is it now?" He says, "I'll put that on the air tonight." And all of a sudden, Jerry said, "Like I said, what a great song."
I can't imagine anything that's better. The world is ours whenever we're together. There ain't a place I like to be instead of moving down a crowded avenue.
Nothing like getting it on a major radio station.
That's right.
So it was true. I mean, like he had a different idea. A lot of times that happens,
Yeah.
And a lot of times artists have the wrong idea,
Sure.
they but a lot of times the record companies have the wrong idea. That's why a lot of B-sides used to become hits.
That's
But
right.
that's what makes the world go round. No one has the magic stamp to know, what is and what isn't. The Beatles were turned down, by a famous label by the name of Decca. So think about that for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Good Lovin', I was thinking about Good Lovin', and I remember, because I played that a few times when I was a disc jockey on the radio.
I'm
and
sure
so
you did, my
I had
man.
it very, up real loud in my headphones. And the thing I remember, and I wanted to ask you about, was that in the intro, when the countdowns 1, 2, 3, it went from channel to channel to channel to both. And I loved that. I'd never seen that happen before. That wasn't an accident.
No. Well, there's a good explanation for that. We were coming into being at the inception of stereo.
Yeah.
Prior to that, you probably know everything was mono.
Right.
What does this mean? This means one speaker, not two speakers, one speaker. And Phil Spector was a genius at making that mono sound like 100 speakers.
Yeah.
For the most part, when stereo came out, Tom Dowd, who was part of the engineering part of Atlantic, he was also freaking genius, was a pioneer in stereo. As a matter of fact, John F. Kennedy used to fly him down for his press conferences to make them happen in stereo.
Wow.
That's how long ago this was. And what is stereo? Stereo is like your headphones. There's a left side and a right side. And of course, there's a center, which is kind of like virtual. It's kind of like, not a speaker, but it's there. That was in its inception. And so basically, we, got the opportunity to fool around with it. So, I mean, it was a great story because 1, 2, 3. Now, if you didn't have a stereo hookup, you heard 1, 2.
Right.
1, 2, 3. Good love. Good love. Good love. Good love. I was feeling so bad. I asked my family doctor just what I had. I said, Doctor, Mr. MD, Doctor, now can you tell me what ailing
Yeah.
But
Oh,
you
I
know,
love
those were
that.
the days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that in my headphones loud. It was so nice. Is that
Yeah.
you did you do the 1, 2, 3?
No, no, we did it. Three of us. Yeah, we did. Three of us did that. You know, Eddie,
Wow.
Gene, Felix. Yeah, I think I was last.
You took
I think
turns.
I don't remember. I got to ask Gene would know that who was who.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to make sure everybody's awake on stage too. You know, you hit the one,
Yeah.
and okay, whoa, yeah,
Oh, 2. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Hey, how's the new album coming? I know we had talked about the new album last time. I love that album. Are
Oh,
you
well,
still
good
playing
then
that a
and
little
now.
bit on the road?
Well, we do. We try to add some of the songs. You know, that's part of the interesting thing of what we do. You know, like we try to slip one in, and right now I've been putting a slip away in there. You know.
Oh, I need you, darling. I want to see you right now. Can you slip away? Slip away. Slip away. Oh, I need you so.
Because you know, basically the idea behind that band was to put 5 songs that influenced us and re-record them, and then write 5 new songs that showed that kind of thread to a degree. That was the idea then and now. So yeah, we try to put those things in there. You know, audience has a lot to do with what we put in, what we don't put in. You know, if you put it in and they like it and they don't say like, oh, I didn't hear, you know, X, you know, or
Right.
Y, then you leave it in. You know, you got to satisfy the public, you know, and
Yeah.
so, you know, you're out there for the audience, you know, I mean, you must realize that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're on the road this summer, right? I was looking at Felix Cavaliere music.com, and the tour dates are on there if anybody wants to see if you're coming close. And is that what you have planned for the rest of the year?
Pretty much, you know, pretty much that's what's going on. We're doing our magical mystery tour, and we've got a couple of cruises. We're going to be doing the malt shop cruise in October, which is really a lot of fun. And then the next year we do the flower power cruise, which is a lot of fun also. And we're just going to keep going until, you know, I mean, as long as people want to hear the music, I really want to play the music. You know,
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. It keeps my throat going. It keeps my health going, and it's just something that, you know, like most of the people who I know who are from the older generation, you know, like Ringo, for example. I mean, he's out all the time. I mean, anytime he can work, he works, and you know, he doesn't need it. I mean, he just does it because
Right.
he loves. We just
Yeah.
lost the Zombies are retiring because Rod Argent took
Yeah.
ill, and so we're going to lose another one of the famous bands from that era. You know, we're whoever's left, we're still out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope I can catch up to you sometime. I'd love to see you guys
I hope so too.
put on your show.
Appreciate that.
Felix, I've kept you a little longer than I promised, but I really love your duet with Dolly and the new song that's out that people can go find now, and it's a great cause for the Maui fire survivors, and I just love talking to you, brother. I thank you so much for coming in again and spending some time with me.
Hey man, anytime. It's a pleasure talking to you, and I appreciate you being there, my man. Let me tell you. Thank you.
Have a great day. Okay.
I'll see you, I hope, soon.
For questions or comments, email Steve at steveryan.songoftheday@gmail.com.